Hopefully y'all can hear me. Um, Hopefully you can hear me. I'm not gonna be on here long. So the last live it cut off right here when I brought this stamp up. My sound, they cut my sound. Conspiracy. Nah, they straight up. Man, that's dope. So I was just talking about this stamp. Now y'all remember when I was like, now this was before, if you go back and look at my lives from when I spoke at that historical marker with the British, talking about the British and the Haitian and the Hessians. If you go back and look at that live, I mean like that was look at the live and then look at the timelines that the chain of events that started this war with Iran and Israel and the US, right? Now, if I don't know, I'm just saying, like, you can see what so when I started telling you that, no, matter of fact, it was the live before that. I did a live right here, sitting right here. When I was like, a friend of my friend is a friend, what is it? An enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now, pay attention to that. Okay? So now, look at Iran, ironically, is honoring Hajj Malik al-Shabazz. Al-Khamenei, their supreme leader, religious leader, sat with Minister Farrakhan. But the United States of Israel, we just gonna say that, took their leader out. Just like our leader was taken out. Just like they took our leaders out. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, what we seeing is really, it's like I said in the last live, Big Mama, Big Juk she said, make sure you're on the right side of history. And that's why we writing on this side. You feel me? On these sides of the tracks. Like real talk. Know your history. And that's really what, like if you're going to be a soldier, a real soldier knows his history. Right? A real soldier knows his history. A real soldier knows who he is and who he's really fighting for, right? And what he's really fighting for. And as a soldier, like again, like the boldest thing you can do is stand up against a call that don't line up with, prosperity and righteousness. The best, like, you know what I'm saying? You have your right to say no. That's what Muhammad Ali did. You know what I mean? That's what Ali did. That's what Ali did. I'm looking for this article I wrote. It's right here. So this is going back to 2024 this has been an ongoing genocidal war, and the United States hasn't been active until Iran got involved, because the Palestinians couldn't defend themselves like how Iran could. You know what I'm saying? They were like the weaker link. But the whole time, Iran was like, hold on, Palestine, we got you. But now it's like, now that Iran entered the chat, now the United States has involvement, as far as like sending sending out troops and shit. And this is just a knock to the troops, like, yo, stand down, be like how Spain did, reject the entry. You know what I'm saying? So refuse. That's really what, that's honorable. That's honorable. And you're like, nah, I ain't fighting in that shit. I ain't fighting for that shit. I'm gonna stand right here and fight with my people. You feel me? The Iranians is not going, they not leaving their homeland. They fighting for, they ain't leaving the house. They ain't even gotta leave the house. You feel me? They ain't even gotta leave the house. Iran is big. You know what I mean? They say it's the size of California, Texas, you know what I mean? All New Mexico is huge. Iran is huge. So they just going after Tehran. I'm like, nigga, they knew that y'all was going to do that. You feel me? So smarten up. It says here Spain. It talks about Spain because India is allies with them too. The India over there, because this is India superior over here. So the Indian government is allies with the United States and Israel too. And it says here in this article that I wrote, right, it talks about how Spain, during the genocide in Gaza, refused to send a ship that was carrying explosive going to, it's not real. Do you understand? So shout out to Spain for that. You feel me? So that's like, even like, again, I'm indirect, like in my occupation, right? Like how you got commerce. This is all about commerce. So in commerce, you got transportation. And in fact, the Department of Transportation used to be the Department of Commerce, which was a part of the Department of Labor, right? All of that fit under the Department of Labor. And then they were edged out, you know, to be called different things. So that's where the Department of Transportation, go back and look it up. It actually is an ancient practice. It's called Kushadweepa, right? So the constitutional principles was already there because you have to analyze the product, right? And so that's what Spain was doing. They like, oh, we know what y'all up to, so we can't pass this through. Can't pass this through. You feel me? And when you study the Treaty and Peace and Friendship, that's what this shit was about. That's what this shit was about, right? Because that no nation recognized that flagship, right? So it's like, if we've been patrolling the seas for eons, right? Eons. And you got all these countries around the world that always had a supply and demand. Therefore, there was always shipments, right? From North Carolina, the Carolinas. That's why you have to know who you are. You understand what I'm telling you? We them tobacco merchants. Okay? So, you gotta know who you are out here in these streets. You gotta know who you are. You know what I mean? We were shipping tobacco from the Carolinas. We were shipping copper from the Carolinas, right? Shipping copper wires from the Carolinas. We were shipping limestones from the Carolinas. These are facts. So therefore, we had a flagship for Carolina. And it was recognized in the Mediterranean Sea. Do you understand? So that's what this is. And when the United States formed, they had to get shipments. So where was they getting the shipments from? Well, imperial sovereignty. So once they started claiming the land, they was getting our resources, and then they was able to ship it out. But then they had to deal with all these other countries. And they had to get their flagship recognized. That's why they had treaties in this that say historical basis rewrite constitution as an indigenous nation. The fact required us to write this exclusive titles to their territories are big. Look for treaties. Crossword puzzle. In the formation of Canada and the United States, the authors to their territories at the time European. The authorship. Anyway, it talks about, the de facto treaties that these colonizers signed amongst themselves, right, to gain access to the land. That's what this is all about. That's why Iran is fed up right now. This is who they dealing with. It wasn't like I got the book. It's missing, but the book that I got, it's ironic that that's missing from my library is the United States of the Middle East. That's why they sending them over there, because the United States is not, it's not here, nigga. It's not here. That's why they had to go over there to fight. They can be over here, you feel what I'm saying, but they're going over there to fight. Because, when has the United States fought a war defending the land here? Defending the land here. Can any veteran, somebody tell me that? All of the wars that the United States have fought has not been here in North America, right? Iran is defending their land, right? That's what this the law of nature. You're not about to come walk up in our trap and take over our trap. Nah, where they do that at? And we not finna leave and go fight for somewhere that's not our trap. But we got ties with it. Exactly. We're not going to overstep our boundaries. It's like what I said in the first video about Normandy and France. There was a mutual agreement there. And that's what, again, the mother and the father has to come together and understand that they both got nationhoods. They're not looking at it from that perspective. Instead of marriages, there needs to be treaties. Y'all go to these same ops to get married. No. Establish treaties. Write it out. Make it a covenant. Have covenants. That's what this all about. That's what it's all about. They can't come to an agreement. That's why they going to war. And that's literally what this post is talking about. It's real. This is real. That's not Israel. They not real. This is real. That's what the fuck need to be going on. There needs to be clinics. There needs to be clinics to teach mothers and fathers, parents, how to problem solve, conflict resolution. You feel me? By the way, I'm not trying to take my baby mama. That's why the post is the post. If you read it, that's real shit. And so that's what need to be, like, for real. We talking about the wrong shit. We need to be holding these women accountable, and I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm a father now, but like if it's a father, like okay, yeah, I'll put it like this: we need to hold the women accountable, and the fathers that know better but choose not to do better, they need to be held accountable too. Like if you out here being a sperm donor and not taking care of your offspring, you need to be held accountable, 1,000%. And you ain't doing, and it's not just financial. It's not just financial. Like it ain't no excuse, bro. It ain't no excuse. Like these women, they try to do everything they can to make sure you're not in their kids' life, but it's not like, it's like Ye said, he moved right next to Kim. When she moved to Beverly or wherever the hell she moved, who cares? But Ye's real stand-up dad. He's, you know, that's what parenting is all about, bro. Like how you got to be like Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? And all that Malcolm was fighting for, and he was on the front line and put his life on the line for, his woman ain't never left him. She stood right there to the end. And you need more women like that. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. Behind every strong man is a strong woman. 1,000%. 1,000%. I go back here. You feel me? All my grandparents is no longer here. They no longer here. So, you know. And my other grandma, she got like 5 different baby daddies. From all 5 of her babies. Real talk. But and it's like, you know, I ain't speaking on family business. I'm just saying that, like, you know, look at me. You know what I mean? All my children, both of my children was by the same woman. And that's out of respect to my children. And so they bond, you know, is different. The bond hit different when, you know what I'm saying? The bond is different when they got the same mama and dad. It's nationhood. You know what I mean? Nationhood is not community building. That's national. That's nationality. It's kind of interesting. You feel me? So their bond is very unique. I don't know what it's like to have the same mom and dad as my siblings. I know what it's like to have the same father and the same mother, but not the same pair. But my children got that. I owe that to them. Like, that's the best thing that you can get. And, like, you got to learn how, and that's another thing, fellas, that I will say. You got to learn how to control your dick, bro. Real shit. Let me not say that in front of my children. You feel me? I just thought. You feel me? You got to learn how to control your dick. Because if you just out here just because it feel good, bro, and you feel good as shit, that's when you get fucked up. By the way, my daughter made this artwork right here. That's her artwork. Let me show you. This is really nice. She did this. It's the work of my daughter. My daughter did that. And it's really dope because you see, it's a woman there. For me, I see it. You see the woman carrying the bowl on her head? You feel me? And it's symmetric. So it's right there too. She didn't even know she was doing that. And I'm like, wow, that's dope. Up here too. It's a woman carrying the water on her head. So this look like, you know, some really like, it's like an artifact. So I try to preserve all their artwork because they really crafty. My children, they very crafty. So I try to preserve their art. You know what I mean? My son did that one right there. And he told me that What'd he say? He said it's a tree on a tire. That's what he told me. That is. So like they really crafty. So I try to preserve their art as much as possible so that they can grow with it. It can be ongoing, and there's so much that they could do to preserve it. And they, again, like I said, these babies is the future. I was out looking at some land today and was just thinking like, man, they gonna be the ones to benefit. I was telling them, like, y'all gonna be the ones to benefit from all this. Y'all gonna be the ones to benefit from, and that's why you gotta get land. We have to preserve our land, because we need it, for real. The land is what creates the economy. From the building, we have more babies being born in the set. Like I said, I just had a great nephew that was born last week. So literally last week it's 12:07 a.m. And so fresh off the new week, so top of the week, happy Monday. Make sure y'all work hard this week, man. Not just hard, but smart. You preserve. Like, what's been keeping me going is I've been setting short-term goals for myself. Like, I know what my long-term goal is, but I try not to, over-consume myself on the long-term goal, and I just make sure I just make short-term, process. Like, even, with the book I'm crafting right now, I have a course, literally, it's like a path that I'm writing on. So it's like a, what they call them? A time. What do they call it? Timeline. It's a timeline, right? So I'm my timeline is the path. You feel me? So that's I got a short-term goal. It's stages. You know what I mean? It's stages. So that's how I'm writing. I'm really perfecting my craft. I wrote this yesterday. You know what I mean? And so that's where I'm at with it. That's how I'm treating life, is a timeline. You know what I mean? And just not a deadline, because we alive. You know what I mean? We don't have no deadlines. It's these are timelines. I'm writing a timeline. It's not I'm working on a timeline. I'm writing a timeline. And that's the journey. And it's really I don't know, man. I just it's so relieving to know that this shit will surpass me. My writings will be here after I'm no longer here. You feel me? It's Nip with his music. It's my mama with her son. Or her sons. You know what I mean? So that's what the work I do. That's the work I represent. That's why I love being a writer. We need more writers. We need more historians. We need more anthropologists. You know what I mean? From our set, from our tribes, we need them. We need more teachers outside of the school system. We need more teachers in our villages, in our hoods, in our neighborhoods, in our rec centers. We need more authors. Shout out to the authors. We need more authors. Real talk. And if you can't hear me talking, read my lips. So, yeah. All right, peace. I'm about to get off of here. Again, I just wanted to give that. So that's 19. Wow, that's crazy. 1984, I ran honored our leader for the Maghrib is Hajj Malik Shabazz. Nip rocked him around his neck, solid gold. You feel me? So hey, bro, that's the angle we coming from. You know what I mean? So Hajj Malik Shabazz, Nipsey Hussle. You feel me? That's it. That's the angle of hip hop. I'm entering and I entered the chat, you know. So instead of like rap shows, we got lecture shows. You feel me? And that's how I do. You know, we lecture, like, got lecture halls. So we want to go on tours. You know, I want to speak at churches, mosque, synagogues, all of that.